my next question would be, growing up or even during your adulthood, did you ever experience something traumatic?
You know, we all need to pause right here and give honor and respect to the fact that a lot of people experience trauma without screaming about it. And over COVID, a lot of folks have had a chance to think back on why life wasn't working and have discovered it's because they swallowed the trauma. Don't swallow the trauma. Regurgitate it and examine it so you can know. So for me, you already heard that I grew up in the Deep South in one of the poorest parts of this United States as a Black female. Every day had its trauma present in my life. I want to honor that we all cope differently based on so many factors that feed and contribute into our lives. I had a solid mom and dad. I had and have a solid faith. Those were trauma busters for me. They helped me through circumstances that people in my own neighborhood fell under. I grew up in a community that Panola Street divided the white from the Black section. Now, that sounds real old-timey, but if you look at where we are today economically, we still got some economic barriers that divide Black from white. And by the way, when I was growing up, that's all we had was Black and white. No other ethnicities were present to our community, to my knowledge, other than at that time, white people in my community did not consider Jews to be part of their white community. And we had 2 Jewish families who I think left on the weekend to go worship somewhere because we didn't have a synagogue. But trauma, that whole system was a trauma cesspool. But I had parents and a faith that helped me to understand that I can live in a world and not be of it. And that's how I balanced myself from that trauma. The most traumatic thing that happened growing up happened for me my 11th grade when I was sent over to integrate the white school. Raise your hand or chat back if you know what I mean when I say integrate the schools back in the 60s. And this was before we had integrated schools. And later I met the man who actually led the court case at the federal level in the United States. Julius Chambers and his legal defense fund fought Brown versus the Board of Education that created that did away with separate but equal, where they said Black kids and white kids could be educated equally, but in separate schools. And they defied that and proved that there was no separate but equal. And I am a child who is the product of that. So by 11th grade, and I know I look young to y'all can't believe that I'm that old, right? But by 11th grade, they sent me over across the town to the white school to integrate. And that was the worst year of my life up until 2020, when my husband, whose picture you see behind me, passed away of Alzheimer's. It was a horrible year. I'm not going to waste a lot of more time on telling you how bad it was, but my history teacher stood up on the desk my first day in U.S. history class and explained to the class, I being the only Black kid in that class and a female, why Blacks were so suited for slavery by describing the genitalia and the dumbness of the brain of the Black male. Now, they didn't call them Black males back then. They called us niggers, not Negroes, not niggers. They called us niggers, okay? And they explained why niggers were so ripe for slavery and that any thought different was an abortion of justice. And so I sat that year in that class with students looking at me as an abortion of justice in these United States. And right now, when you see me, sometimes I go like that, or if I want to drink, I got this beautiful Waterford crystal glass, and I'm using a plastic straw in a crystal glass because I bit my jaw so hard. Oh, wow. I bit my jaw so hard my 11th grade year, and I prayed to God. You can't make deals with God, okay? And I sat there in my infancy in my Christianity and prayed to God, Lord, if you'll just let them not see me cry, if you'll let me not shed a tear, I will never come back here. And I bit hard and I damaged the inside of my jaw in a way that I've not been able to recover from to this day, with some of the best surgeons and the best healthcare available. It was an awful year. Let's leave it at that. Leave it at that. Okay. It was a horrible year, but it didn't kill me, and I grew stronger.
Yes, Lord.
Hi, thank you for watching. If you want to see more of our videos, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button below.